What's up, everybody? My name is Jeremy, this is Tyler, and this is the H&A Game Corner. Today we're going to go over the Kingdom Hearts 3 developmental cycle, and up until this point, D23 was last week. We'll get to that in a minute. But first off, Kingdom Hearts 3 was first announced in E3 2013 when Microsoft and Sony were showing off their new consoles and their new games. I was trying to figure out which one I wanted, and then Sony came on stage with the Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer, and I was like, well, I gotta get the Sony PlayStation 4. And then they came out the next day and said, oh, it's gonna be on Xbox One as well. So I'm like, well. And I ended up getting Xbox One, and then I have a PlayStation now. But anyways, directly after it was announced at E3, Nomura, the director, Tetsuya Nomura, stated that it was announced too early, and it won't be out for a long time, which is classic Square Enix Nomura stuff. And then a year later, Square Enix decided to change engines from the in-house Luminous
engine, I think.
Luminous engine, and then to the Unreal 4 engine, and then that took away a year of work for them. Basically, they couldn't transfer anything over. It was all new engine, all new tools. So it's really been in development since 2014, not 2013. And then over the past, until last month really, we just got different trailers showing off Tangled and the vehicle forms that you can summon, the train, teacups, the pirate ship. Yes. There's probably more we haven't seen as well. And then we also saw the Tangled world. We've seen Twilight Town, Hercules World, and then they announced Big Hero 6, but we haven't seen anything about that yet. And then last month at the orchestra trailer, we saw Sora in the Olympus Coliseum world, Hercules world, and he was fighting Heartless off. The game looked really good. Come a long way in the past since the past couple of years, and we saw that he's getting new drive forms, which will allow him to change his clothes and his Keyblade transformation. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So in Kingdom Hearts 2, you had the drive forms, which were you could access them from a drive menu option right down here at the bottom, and that would allow you to access different abilities Sora had, such as dual wielding, or he could access his abilities from the first game. Now they're focusing a lot on Keyblade transformations, and these are no longer going to be accessible in the same way, depending on what Keyblade you're using. A reaction command, I guess if you want to call it that, situation command, I think, will appear right up here and have the name of the form you want to go into. So if he's using his base Kingdom Key, he goes into something called Second Form. If he's using the unnamed Hercules Keyblade we've seen, it goes into a form where he transforms it into a shield. I think it's called a Guardian form. And in the Toy Story trailer, we see him transform the Keyblade into a drill and a hammer, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And so we got after that in D23 this past week, Nomura has done a ton of interviews with a bunch of different websites, and we learned a lot of information coming out for Kingdom Hearts 3. First up, they announced the Toy Story world, where they showed off that you can have 2 additional party members in addition to Sora, Donald, and Goofy. So Buzz and Woody were in your party along with those 3, which is something that's never been done before in the Kingdom Hearts series. As well as the game, the Toy Story world looks like an actual Pixar game, which is really great that they've been finally able to include a Pixar world. Nomura's been wanting to do Toy Story for a long time. There were even Woody and Buzz models in Kingdom Hearts 2, which guessing some kind of summon ability to do that, but it just never made it into the game. So with more information that has come to light this past week, we've gotten information about how the worlds there will be less worlds in Kingdom Hearts 3 than Kingdom Hearts 2, but the worlds in Kingdom Hearts 3 will be a lot bigger, more expansive, more things to do in those worlds. And it'll be an original story. You won't have to follow the movie plot as they've done in the past with Agrabah / Aladdin and Alice in Wonderland, Tarzan, that kind of stuff. And so original stories, for example, the Toy Story world takes place canonically in that timeline after Toy Story 2, but before Toy Story 3. So it's all Andy's room. Andy and the others have gone missing, is what we've gathered from that trailer. Xehanort has something to do with that. Speaking on the D23 trailer, we got a release date of 2018 for Kingdom Hearts 3. Do you think they're going to make it?
I think they'll make it. Nomura talked about back in 2015 how they had a release window planned, and they've been steadily working to meet that goal ever since. He's said multiple times that development is on schedule, so I think they can make 2018.
Okay, me too. I think as long as we've learned from Nomura that there have been shifts in developmental teams at Square Enix over the past couple of years, which has affected their developmental cycle, and so but he's hoping that things will keep on track. He's also helping with the Final Fantasy VII Remake, which was just brought back in from it was being developed externally, now it's being developed internally by Square Enix, which could hopefully it does not affect the development of Kingdom Hearts 3. People have been wanting this since Kingdom Hearts 2. It's time for them to get this out the door, especially since Final Fantasy 15 finally came out last year after a 7-8 year developmental cycle. So it's time for them to get Kingdom Hearts 3 out the door, then they can focus on the Final Fantasy 7 remake, as well as their other games, Dragon Quest 11, that kind of stuff. Just real quick, what other worlds do you think will be in Kingdom Hearts 3?
So obvious choices would be the Keyblade Graveyard and Radiant Garden. In terms of Disney worlds, I think we know there's not a ton of Disney worlds returning because he wants to focus on new worlds. I think in terms of returning Disney worlds, I think Aladdin could make a return. Maybe. There's definitely some more stuff to explore there. Other choices I think would be... yeah.
I think, personally, I think Frozen's a pretty safe bet. It's a huge movie here, as well as in Japan. Japan loves Frozen. I would like to see a Monsters Inc. world and have Sora and the gang fight alongside Sully and Mike Wazowski. I think that would be a really fun world, especially since Pixar is now in the game with Toy Story. I think Monsters Inc. could very well easily be a part of Kingdom Hearts 3. As well as I think we'll be returning to Castle Oblivion, because that is where Ventus is. He's in the Chamber of Waking, and he's waiting to come back.
I think in 0.2 we got to play as Aqua in the Realm of Darkness, so I think that could show up again in a different part of the Realm of Darkness, obviously. But going there to save Aqua could be a thing.
So... And we also know from Nomura that we will be playing as someone other than Sora for at least a short amount of time in the game. Who do you think that is?
I think likely candidates are either young Xehanort in the past, or a Aqua, since they already have her as a playable character in 0.2.
I think it'll be Riku. That will be playable, because he's been playable in Chain of Memories and Dream Drop Distance, and Riku is always a favorite. He's my favorite from the series, so I hope that you can play as Riku. So with that, we hope that Kingdom Hearts 3 will be out in 2018 on time, so we can Okay. I was like, what are you doing? Kingdom Hearts 3 will be out next year, hopefully. We will see him. Nomura, he said that we will be getting more information before the game's release. So, if you like this video, make sure to actually like it on YouTube, subscribe to our channel, like us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. It really helps us out to know. Leave your feedback. We want to get better. We want to do more of these videos. So tell us what you like. Tell us what you want to see more of. And we'll see you next time.